halfway through the year. This video is a little bit late, but I was reading, so still, that's good, right? Of millions, I often ask myself for my identity. I strive to seek it. In a way, I'm always trying to separate myself from the others, to rise from the masses and become something of my own. So join me on my journey as I intend to reach across the stars and to find myself, to go through pages and pages of other people's journeys to find my passions and to find myself. But who am I, you may ask? I am the Wordman. So hey people, whoever is watching this video, welcome back to Wordman. We're halfway through this year now, and I'm just kind of like happy about the fact that we're halfway through this year. And I saw other people doing these videos about halfway through the year, so let's make a video about what's the best so far. So I was like, all right, I'll make some. And so I know 2 or 3 weeks ago I posted about Walking Dead, and I read a lot of stuff. I did read a lot after that, so I'm kind of like gonna talk about that stuff. I'm gonna talk about stuff I read before I started this channel, because I started like 2 months ago or something. I don't know. I don't exactly remember. But first thing, after Walking Dead, I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought myself The Road and some other books, and I absolutely love this book. It's a masterpiece. I never read Cormac McCarthy, and he sadly passed away, and so RIP. But he's an incredible writer. I'll go in depth on this in a review, but I loved every bit of this book, and it's one of those rare things that kind of makes me emotional, because I normally don't get emotional at all when I'm reading books or like watching movies or something. It's like I feel emotion, but I don't cry. I mean to say. So this made me emotional at the end, and it's a beautiful book that has beautiful prose, beautiful writing, breathtaking, interesting characters. But what it does the best is the fact that Cormac McCarthy is so good at making you care and like to show humanity through this book. This book isn't just about father and son trying to get to the ocean in a ravaged America. Which is like the basic plot of it, but it's also about humanity and its worst tendencies and what makes them good and what makes them bad. That's what makes it so incredible and brilliant and beautiful. So yeah, that was one of the best reads. I'm pretty sure when I at the end of the year, when I make top 10 of this year, that would be the top 3. I wouldn't know which exactly, but yeah. Now Douglas Adams and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mean, look, I didn't read all this because this collects. I like when I went to buy the road, I bought this also. I haven't read all of them. I've read the first one. I've watched the movie with Martin Freeman also, which I love, and I loved it. I think it's quirky, it's weird, it's insane, but it's also a lot of fun. That you're reading it and you're going, this is so weird and zany, but you fall in love with it because it's got this sense where you end up enjoying what you're reading, and you end up like loving these characters and loving this weird concept and this world that Douglas Adam has created. And it's also very funny, and you read it and you're laughing, and it's a different type of humor. It's not like the one where you're watching and you're like ha ha ha, and but it's like dry humor. Well, it's gonna have put a smile on your face. So yeah, next thing is Berserk Volume 2. So like I could read these from a library, but I want these editions so bad, and I haven't talked about Berserk in this on this thing, but it's officially, even though I'm only on the second volume, and it's like everyone has 3 technically. So this is the start of the golden age, and it's incredible. I love the first arc, the swordsman arc. I think I forgot. I think, but yeah, I love that. But I read that last year, and I read this because I got this during like the New Year's or something, and I read this in January. And the thing is that uh, I love these so much that I read them in a day. So I got this and I read it in a day, and I love it because Guts is incredible. It's incredibly violent. It's incredibly cool though at the same time, and I fell in love with this world. And manga has a hard time with me because some things I don't like, some things I do, and I haven't explored beyond. But this is what I want to read, so it's like I'm slowly buying each and this because I want to read them in this way because there's and the art by Kentaro Miura is incredible, and I know people say it gets better and that it's like okay, but I can't draw it all, so to me it's incredible. Sagi Yojimbo second volume, and I loved the first one, read it, incredible. I love this too, and I read it in such a blur, but it's incredible how he creates this samurai narrative that engages you when you fall in love with it. And there's a lot of great arcs in this. Like in this one, they have I forgot the grass cutter, which is like the biggest one, and it's incredible. Every character, every storyline is incredible, and it makes you care for Usagi, and you love this wonderful world that he's built, and you fall in love with it. And yeah, so I love that. Another book that I read before I channel is something that I don't normally read, but if I am in the mood for, I do, and that's Everything Is Fucked by Mark Manson, who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which I haven't read. I haven't read the first like the international best-selling book, but this is my first time, and I do watch his YouTube channel, which is great. You guys should check it out. But I fell in love with this. I think it's great. The great thing is that he's very funny, like he knows, but he's also great at taking big philosophical concepts and the things he's talking about, and to make you understand those ideas in a normal way, and to make you laugh and understand these concepts. And that's why the book was great, and not many people can do that, and he does that in an incredible way. Next up is Kings of the Wild, which was the first fantasy book I reviewed on this channel, and I watched it a whole lot of times, a review on this book, and then I bought it, and I loved every bit and essence of this book. I think it's a great standalone, and it's so great, and it's fun. It's got incredible characters, incredible world, and it just made me love it so much that I don't know. It might be my favorite fantasy books of all time. Now, this book that I'm gonna talk about, I'm reading it right now after Walking Dead and after The Road and Hitchhiker. I started reading it, and was was The Way of Kings. And this is a very popular book because Brandon Sanderson is incredible. But this is the first time I'm reading Sanderson. I haven't read Sanderson, like not Mistborn, none of that. So to me, this is the first time that I've been reading this, and it's incredible. And I'm only like finished part one, and so it's like about 200 pages in, which is nothing. I don't use bookmarks. I know I should, but I remember, and it's incredible. And just the thing is, this is definitely gonna be in top three, like The Road. Already, that I can see Sanderson is incredible, and there's no doubt. I knew I would love him, but I wasn't sure how much. But I am loving this more than I thought I ever would. But yeah, I'm not finished with it, and it's a huge book. It'll take me probably 2 more weeks. I don't know. That might be slow for some people, but I still think that's pretty good. But yeah, I think it's almost fell out of my, and it's incredible already. It's got great characters, beautiful world building, everything Sanderson does, and it's great. So yeah, but now I'm gonna talk about some stuff that the books that is great, and this is Agatha Christie, one of my favorite authors of all time, and that is Peril at End House, which is a Hercule Poirot, which is what I know that's how you say it, because apparently I used to say Poirot, and it's Poirot. So yeah, Hercule Poirot, and it's basically about this woman at this end house that she owns, and that someone has tried to kill her like 2 or 3 times, and it has failed. And so Hercule Poirot must figure out the killer, and it's a whodunit. It's great. Again, Agatha Christie never misses with me, but this book saved me from a reading slump. It was incredible. It was beautiful, and the mystery was really what made me love it. Like there's some like The Hollow, if you ever read by Agatha Christie, which I didn't like because it felt stupid, and really boring. But this one had this great twist, and it was greatly written that I read it in like a day and a half that I couldn't let go, and I kept reading, and I finished it. Yeah, and so I love that. Now again, comics Preacher. I made a review on it. It's one of my favorite stories of all time now, right next to Sandman. And first time reading it, I was gonna love it. I knew I was gonna sure, but I didn't know how much, and I just blurred through it, and I fell in love with every single thing that was in that comic. I might watch the TV show, and it was incredible, and I fell in love with it. So yeah, that's the best. Now the worst. Now, the worst is kind of weird because I've read really great stuff, but I don't normally want to talk about negative stuff. But there's only a very few. Walking Dead. Now I made a review on Walking Dead, and there are positives. I wouldn't say that I didn't hate it because I wouldn't have read such a huge series otherwise. But it had great moments in it, but it had its own problems with its characters, its world, and the type of story started to change, and without us knowing it changed, and it was stretched. That was the biggest problem. It was stretched very very much, and it was like a huge problem to me. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would say is one of the worst things, but honestly it's like mediocre, and like yeah, that would be a big thing. Now Fahrenheit 451, I read that in school, and look, I wanted to love it, like I really wanted to love it, because I was like, this might be cool, Ray Bradbury doing something, and it was not satisfying. I wouldn't say that I hated it and I thought it was completely useless, but I think in a way I had fun with it, but I felt like it could have needed something more. It didn't have that much of a strong plot, and it didn't know what to do, and so it feels really interesting, because the only thing I read in school that I've actually loved so much is The Outsiders. That's the only thing that I loved that I read. Oh, that and Speak by Laurie House Anderson. Those two were like the things that I loved. But besides those two, there hasn't been anything that I've read in school. But yeah, and there's not that much. Like, it's not like whatever I read is great and I love it. It's not like that. But those are like the ones that really dragged it down for me, and I was just not happy. And I was in a reading slump for a while also. Like, I had like 2 or 3 reading slumps, so I was not reading, I was watching more. And yeah, so this just really helped me. But yeah, so this is the best and the worst so far of the year for me. If you're watching this, thank you. Please subscribe. We got more stuff coming soon. I read and then I do videos. But yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.